Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from. Thank you for joining me tonight, everyone who's joining me live and everyone who tunes in afterwards to check out the live stream. And out too. But when I got my title, I've got one thing: Spain. Spanish towns are getting. Talk about that. Well, it's all part of the broader globalist plan. We know that. The Fauchi fallout, where it is sinking. Fauci is a problem, was a problem, and he is not the only one that's a problem. But anyway, good hunting. Good hunting is what I say to Donald J. Trump. And from the very beginning years ago, in a worldwide military police action to take down corrupt criminal organizations around the world. But anyway, what do I do? What do I do while people come in? I play videos so people can settle in and get themselves a cup of coffee, a nice cold bruja, or an adult beverage of their choice. And then what will we do? Wait a second. Let's see what we'll say. Remember this guy? Have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama? Then we'll be like butter. Ha ha. And get on a roll.
Has Donald Trump called you for advice or talked to you at all? But has he called and talked to you? I would call you.
No, he hasn't.
You guys know what this represents?
Tony Fauci still does speaking engagements.
And gets paid a fortune.
Is celebrated for how he responded to a virus we know he was involved in.
Dust on my Bible, flags on the line. You laughed at our warnings, called truth a crime. You sold us your secrets, wrapped up like hope. Signed all our futures with a mansions. We prayed in the rain. You cast every favor on a ledger of pain. You thought you were covered, names on a list, private plane pages you swore don't exist. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. You thought she was certain, thought he was too. Shook hands in the back room, said they'll never. Every farmer, every steel-toed boo, called him crazy and bitter while you buried the proof. Now screens start flashing, whole names, young kids, whole world scrolling through the things y'all did. Digital soldiers from the cornfields to Rome say leave our children alone or we're taking you home. Let's go. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. From
storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Well, think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. And let's see if I get plucked off the live stream again. Ha ha, boy, that really screwed things up, didn't it? Ha ha. Oh, boy. We just soldier on, don't we? Yes, we do. Tammy's here. Sissy's here. Todd's here. Rubber Toe. Scott. Nice to see you. Mac. All right. Doc is here. Let's see who else is rolling. Greg is here. Mac, nice to see you. Let's see. Frank is here. Robin. All right. Let's see. Oh, my chats are sticking a little bit. That's not a good sign. But I'm not going to worry about it. I get testy when my... Hi, Johnny. How you doing? When my streams get... jiggy, I get testy, okay? So bear with me if I bark a little bit. Flannel Cheese, nice to see you. Elva, nice to see you. All right, everybody's rolling in. Everybody's rolling in. Let's see, who are Miss Cole's here? Ha ha. Judy, nice to see you, Judy. Let's see, Debbie. All right, we got Tammy, Cole. All right, let me see. Who else we got? Rain's here. Kathy's here. How many Debbies we got? I think we got one Debbie. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Yeah, I look at my Tennessee, where you been? I look at my, what do they call them? I don't know. It shows you views, and then it drops off. It drops off when I'm saying hi to everybody. But, you know, people can't fast forward a video or don't want to hear it. I don't know what to do. What to tell you? How you doing, Ima? As in live. Well, I'm live, but you are alive. All right. Let's see. And if I missed anybody, my sincere apologies. I don't mean to do it. And all my lurkers out there, I want to say hi. Oh, it's so nice to open up Utizzle and see something like this that's been going around. after invoking the fifth Anthony Fauci, faces possible Senate contempt vote. Well, as we discussed last night, he's looking at a lot worse than that. But we have to continue to pound it in to people's brains what's going on. Well, I tell you what, at least we're making headway with reverse migration. And oh, what a wonderful world it would be if the Supreme Court hadn't tripped up Trump on tariffs and these judges playing games with deportations, slowing things down. But he is soldiering on as we continue to move forward. I saw this on the internet too, the interwebs. You tizzle. Remember this idiot got a brewery? Wisconsin Brewing Company that advertised free beer the day Trump dies. Has its permit revoked. Good, you SOB. You've got a public license, okay? You're interacting with the public and you want to use your product to encourage. Oh, I'm not encouraging anybody to hurt Trump. I mean, it's just when he naturally goes, right? Yeah, go feed that to somebody else, you jerk. You're lucky not sitting in jail. But anyway, his license been revoked. You're out of here. Put an egg in your shoe and beat it. Hit the road. So anyway, yeah. And then we got Elon Musk. What's he going to do? Report Musk plans massive spending push in the midterms. I thought I'd feel a little sluggish because I ate me a big piece of pizza. You know how that makes you want to go take a nap. But hi, Judy, how you doing? But no, I'm feeling pretty good. I didn't even get my cherry pie or my chocolate. So anyway, yeah, like Harry Ant was showing, the Democrats were $2 million in the red. They're broke. In the red, they owe. And we're 90 days. I don't know how far we are out. Just over 3 months, and they're flat damn broke. And this is when you got to turn on the gas. This is when you got to turn on the heat. And they're asking their vendors, "Oh, can you bill us after the election?" Yeah. Well, the only thing they're going to have is their crazies. Okay, the crazies that'll go out there, and some of them may not even do it if they don't get their gift cards. And how much you want to bet Scott Besant's got a sharp eye on that stuff? So anyway, but somebody's spending some money. Got the Moroccans invading a Spanish town. We'll get to that. Who gave the order? Who gave the order for that? Somebody gave the order. Because you just don't have 80,000 people go into a town or a small city all at once. And somebody's got to be paying some bills, putting food in people's bellies, or greasing some palms, or getting the word out. Tomorrow's the big day. Start. They're migrants. They say migrants. No, they're invaders, and you shall see. I guess they're going to call it the deconquista. Remember the reconquista? Y'all read about that in your history books? Yeah, they're going to take back Spanish territory. So anyway, what's this? You think, where do you think this is? What is this? What are you looking at on the screen? Take a wild guess in the chats, folks. Take a wild guess. And then I'll tell you what it is. But I want to see what you think it is first. Boy, we think we got problems. Well, we do got. Everybody's got problems, apparently. Is that some kind of weird Vogue magazine picture? Ha ha! Todd, you keep your ear to the ground, don't you? Barrister. Gary's here. Ha ha! The midterms will not happen. Oh. Well, I guess what will happen. Ha ha! I have said, I don't know if me saying this causes me these problems or my streams get knocked out, or I might be on the edge of getting in trouble. But for the last good number of streams, I have said we're on the road. On the road to where? How many times have I said it? We're on the road to the Insurrection Act. And, yeah, it's a free ad campaign for the midterms. How you doing, Scott? Miss Mendersu, there you are. That is, yeah, it's Sharia law, all right. So anyway, let me show you what it is. Another young lady pops up in my feed. Christina Aguaya comes up. I put her stuff up. A Muslim woman just became the first woman in Nigeria to become a lawyer while wearing a hijab. I guess she misspelled it to not get in trouble. Yes, this is real. What are your thoughts on this? Libs of TikTok. So yeah, they're going to have, as part of their faith, Sharia law. You must follow Sharia law. Ha ha, is this a future thumbnail? I don't know. Huh? What do you think of that? Stay locked in. We're locked in, Mr. President. We are focused. Let's see. I'm just looking through the chats real quick. So anyway, yeah. One thing these dopey liberals need to think about. 50,000 Iranians executed publicly, a lot of them publicly. Do you think if they had a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, that there would be any chance of that ever happening? When I showed the aerial photographs of villages in the Congo, where you could see from space all the red stains in the dirt roads, where they were just dragging people out of their houses, entire families. Hundreds of red blotches out in the streets, the dirt roads, where Christians were taken out of their homes and lost their lives. That's the way I have to say it. Do you think that would ever happen in a country where the people had the right to keep and bear arms? Let that be a lesson to you all. You're the ones that are saying Trump is like that. Trump wants to do that to people. Wait a minute. This is what Trump does right here. Dan Scavino posted this, and the White House posted it. Dan Scavino reposted it. 126-year low in homicides. Okay? That's what Donald Trump does. And if the Supreme Court hadn't done what they've done, we'd be getting tariff checks with the knowledge that there were more to come, right? More to come. Now, this business with Fauchi, right? We'll touch on him and then move on to these other subjects. This Moreno fellow in the Senate, all right? He's discussing here, I think, what's going to prove to be one of the biggest crimes Fauci did was divide this country and to inculcate into the minds of people fear and division. He dresses down Fauci for how he treated people who weren't duped by his BS.
Can you do me a favor in the audience and stand up if during you were called a racist for calling the virus a Wuhan virus or the China virus? If you thought the 6-foot rule was total crap, if you thought the vaccine wasn't something that you should take, if you thought it was outrageous the way the mask policy was rolled out, if you were fired from your job for not taking that vaccine, including members of the military, if you thought closing schools was catastrophically stupid, and that you thought that during these times saying these things made you somehow a lesser human being. Dr. Fauci, can you just turn around and look at the people behind you? You're not willing to do that? That's not a question. It's not a question to your lawyers. It's a request. All you have to do is look up from your lawyers and look at the people who were absolutely shamed for saying what we know now to be the truth. You can't even look at them?
No, he can't. No, he can't. But I'll tell you one thing he can do is he can look himself in the mirror because he still thinks he's the greatest thing in the world. But it's getting around. Like Clandestine points out. The shifting consciousness. Eagles defensive coordinator Vic Fangio takes a stab at Fauci for pleading the fifth. Small stuff like this goes a long way in shifting the collective consciousness. Sports are a massive part of our culture, and people in sports are becoming less and less pressured to fall in line with the left and their insanity. The left's stranglehold on culture is fading. This has a significant effect on the youth and the less politically engaged. Could you imagine a football coach criticizing Fauci 3 or 4 years ago? He would have likely been fired and smeared as a loony conspiracy theorist, killing people with disinformation. Now this position is culturally acceptable. Even the most hardcore Fauci worshippers have quietly backtracked and know they have been deceived. This may seem small, but this is proof that the Overton window is shifting and proof of how far we've come. And this is the video he's discussing right here. Got a little wry smile on his face. And, when you think about the extent of the harm this operation caused, it's kind of hard to smile, but at least he knows he's getting a dig in.
Vic, what's the...
I'm going to be like Fauci and just take the Fifth Amendment on questions. Did you guys see that? Yeah. Oh, my God. What was the question?
Yeah, you had that lined up. Save that one, weren't you?
Yeah, people don't like the Fifth Amendment when people take the Fifth Amendment. They say, what's he hiding or she? Huh? Oh, we're going to find out, I believe. We're going to find out. So anyway, yeah, I see in the chats, people are talking about Europa. And I tell you what, before I get into this thing with Morocco, I got a video. This is on a French beach. A hidden camera. This is going around on Telegram. They're showing helicopters. What are they doing on a French beach?
Absolutely chaos. This is chaos.
choppers on site now to try and light up the sea and search for the dead bodies. There is one on the beach over there. Just getting CPR, I'm not sure if they've brought him round. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. I don't know if they've got the defibrillator on him, they've got a drip on him. Not sure what's going on over there. I'm not sure if he's come round. Again, we've got the warship out there. Loads of lights absolutely everywhere. The dinghy's stuck. The dinghy's stuck. Looks like they've just got it going again now. We managed to get a load of people off, bail the water out and push it. Seems like they're going. Seems like they've got it going. But yeah, big chopper there. Put the big lights on for them so they can see where they're going.
The police are there. Who's that? I think it's migrants.
Not sure what the warship's doing out there, not a bloody great deal. I'll probably wait to take it back over actually, but yeah, look at that thing. Shining its lights down there, there's blue lights everywhere, fire brigade, ambulances, police, you know, wild scenes. And guess what? All this so they can invade our country. I'm not sure if that guy's come back round there. In the water, it's usually not too good really. So yeah, I'm going to get out of here because the far left are on my tail and the migrants.
Remember, they were arresting people for filming migrants. Well, not migrants, invaders, right? There isn't a female in the crowd, and hardly any gray hair. They're all young men. What do you think they're doing, folks? Apparently the authorities know what's going on. There they are. The police and possibly military. They got helicopters. Let me see if anybody guesses in the chats what they're doing. Anybody guess in the chats or could hear what that guy was saying? You know what they're doing? They're ferrying them over the channel and dropping them off in the UK. They're dropping them off in the UK because the European Union's got that shenanigan or whatever it is where if, like, Spain gave citizenship to 500,000 so-called migrants, they're part of the European Union now. So they're taking these and dumping them over on England, who, you know, we had to, over on UK, Brexit, you know, they're out of the European Union. So they don't want to get stuck with them. And they're dumping them off in the UK. UK is going to have their hands full. And they got their hands full with Morocco now. Here's a Fox News alert about the situation. The deconquista instead of reconquista.
Really wild video here. Chaos at the border of Spain's North African enclave in Morocco. This is a city called Ceuta. You're watching as thousands of migrants break through the fence and completely overwhelm the border police. Their video showing huge groups of people, mostly young military-age guys, cramming into inflatable tubes or arriving on shore in other ways, some of them wading in the water as they break through the gates to get to the other side. Sandra, this is reminiscent of kind of what we saw during the open border during the Biden administration through 2021, 2024, kind of similar to what we saw in Del Rio back in 2021. The socialist agenda, their platform literally says they want to abolish borders, abolish immigration enforcement, have complete freedom of movement. This is what it looks like in another country if they get what they want. Notice there is no resistance from the government whatsoever. These people are coming in without any obstruction. And if people don't know, Spain has a very left-wing government. Earlier this year, they did a big amnesty program for over 1 million illegal immigrants living in the country. They had 1.3 million illegal immigrants apply for that amnesty program between April and June. So that's what we call a pull factor, Sandra. They're looking for something like that. They know if they can just get their foot in the country, maybe someday that left-wing government will do another amnesty program. And you were just reading some of the wires. The locals want an emergency declaration. It sounds like
the ministry's saying no, and they will not deploy military to the border.
Apparently they don't think this is an I mean, look at this. This is a total free-for-all.
It does feel like we are looking at a few years ago when you were reporting at the border here in the United States. This is happening right now. This story is breaking right now, and you're not just talking about hundreds, thousands of migrants are pouring over the borders as we speak.
Yeah, and again, I mean, just look here. Do you see any women or children? I mean, most people would call these folks so-called asylum seekers. These are all young guys just flooding into the country and overwhelming what, if any, border there is. It looks like there's just kind of a small barbed wire fence or something like that. But you can see the Spanish government is caught completely off guard here, and you have thousands of these men. I mean, it literally looks like, you often hear the word invasion, but it literally looks like one here. Look at that. I mean, you see the border fence there. They're all just going around it. And again,
the head of Spain's civil guard is calling this absolute chaos. In a brand new interview, he said, quote, "It's not possible to give precise numbers, but there are thousands of migrants crossing right now." He added that the border has totally collapsed, quote unquote.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. And for folks who don't know where this is a small Spanish city, autonomous in North Africa. It's actually in Morocco, but it does have Spanish autonomy. It's called Ceuta. So this isn't on the mainland of Spain, but these images, we've been looking at them on social media all morning. It's just stark to see that there is no resistance whatsoever. I mean, at least in Del Rio back in 2021, when those 20,000 Haitians were crossing the river, similar images to this, you had some border patrol there. You had Texas DPS there trying to stop them. Here in Spain, there is absolutely nothing stopping these folks from wading ashore and climbing the fences. And Sandra, I mean, look at that in the background. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of these men just flooding the country.
We're hearing numbers between 80 and 100,000. What I was saying earlier in the broadcast, who gave the order? Who gave the order? And they played some video in that clip of stuff I've got, shorter clips of. I guess I don't have play or might play. But who gave the order? And a statement came out. I guess the mayor, "I'm in favor of closing the Schengen area with Spain," Mr. Tajani wrote on X. "Irregular and uncontrolled immigration poses a danger to national security." No kidding. And the images coming from Ceuta show how the Madrid government's decision to grant Spanish and therefore European citizenship. See what happens when you share your sovereignty, Europe. See what happens? Over 500,000 irregular immigrants is profoundly wrong and encourages human trafficking. Irregular immigrants, you idiot. They're invaders. It's a predatory invasion. The data coming from Spanish Civilian Guard estimates, rather conservatively, that more than 40,000 individuals have crossed the border in Spanish territory. That's gone way up. The town is in uproar as chaos is swiftly erupting. Clashes between natives and newcomers are already taking place, with the Spanish Ministry of Interior turning down calls for a national emergency situation to be officially declared. Well, I heard the military was called out. About 2 hours ago, that's what I heard. It looks like the Spanish government is announcing it has reached an agreement with the Moroccan government, and they have agreed to get the situation under control. But in reality, the violence is escalating, and thousands upon thousands more migrants are attacking the border. Europe update, Melilla, the other Spanish coastal enclave in Morocco, is also suffering from mass border and fence crossing. Cars are being set on fire by the fence, and individuals are seen crossing into the town on rooftops. back in the day, sticks and stones to turn away this type of aggressive invasion. Now, I'm not going to say migration, okay? It's misleading. Misleading. You know, I don't know how much of this stuff they're going to put on video. As night was falling, here you have somebody, somebody trying to break in people's houses. And what do? You're an unarmed populace, okay? Because that's what lefty governments do. They take away your right to defend yourself. And you have 80 to 100,000 20-year-olds or whatever age they are with no purpose breaking into your neighborhood. And there's going to be horrible stories coming out of this, folks. I don't want to push any buttons, but there is going to be terrible things happening, and probably are happening as we speak. You can't protect your wife and children. You can't protect your property. You got thousands of people. You think they're there. I'm looking for a job. Where do I sign up to learn Spanish and integrate into the community? No. Let's see what this video is. There's one of them where here's where the military came out. But they just get off the streets and stand around and joke. I mean, what are they going to do? They got to physically round them up. They got to say, where's your papers? Yeah, they got to say that. And they got to mean it, and they got to do it. Let's see. This is a video, I believe, where some of the residents of the area, I believe this video is, they're coming out with clubs. What else are you going to do?
¡Hijo de puta! ¡Invasores, hijo de puta! ¡Invasores! ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Hijo de puta! ¡Invasores de mierda! ¡Me cago en tu muerto! ¡Hijo de puta!
Yeah, that was the headline for the video, but thankfully you don't see a lot of detail. But they're chasing after him with clubs and bats. Authorities estimate over 80,000 migrants have rushed into the Spanish city of Ceuta. The Spanish army is being deployed. What's this one now? Here we are. More video clashes between Spanish citizens and invaders, okay? What did Trump say when he was at the Alamo? They're coming for the gravy. They're coming for the gravy. Oh, God knows what's going on right now. God knows. God knows. Let me see if I got any all over the place. Oh, here they are. Beachgoers. No, they're not beachgoers. They're invaders. bringing bicycles. Look at that, bringing their own bicycles. Who's that with the Red Cross vest? Did you see that Red Cross vest? Is this some of the remnants of USAID money? Or is this some of the international NGOs, non-government organizations financing this and having somebody in a Red Cross jacket? You see them around. You see them around with the red jackets. They are attempting to destroy other countries, the governments in power. Hey, whoever it is that approved that 500,000 just got himself 500,000 votes. They'll never be removed from power if this is allowed to stand. And they want to subjugate and destroy their system of government and put in a Marxist totalitarian system. There you have it. So for everybody saying, oh, Republicans are just calling people commies to scare them, in a pig's eye, this is what happens. Here we go again. How'd you like to be taking your dog for a walk or going to the grocery store and all of a sudden, here they come.
Increíble la situación. Mucho a la raya. Increíble la situación ahora mismo, señores. ¡Viva España!
Boy, if they could have only thought of that over the centuries. Not an invasion. We're just migrants. This isn't military. This is innocent migrants. Let me see this one. What is this? Oh, gosh. Yeah, I have to get to... I'll get to this in a minute. This is... the women's basketball bunch. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to watch these savages. I agree. And why are they such in a hurry? They're going to want to be getting in people's houses. Okay? They're going to be grabbing whatever they can grab. They are dirt poor in Morocco. I remember when I was broadcasting years ago, I said 30 years ago, I was in Alexandria and other outlying areas from D.C., and I said, you would have thought you were at a Moroccan bazaar. All the different languages, people couldn't give street directions to a hospital. Who remembers me saying that? That I felt like I was in a bazaar in Morocco. And here they are. So anyway, Dan Scavino posted this. Let me see. What is this? Dan Scavino. I would have done the social media director. I would have gone with the social media director. Just saying. What's he talking about? Let me see. I didn't get a chance to watch it. 2020. Oh, coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, can people look back and admit to themselves that they were duped? The real hardcore ones deep down knew it was going to cause trouble for Donald Trump. It was going to destroy Donald Trump's accomplishments. Then deep down, they don't care if their neighbors are hurt. And they get enjoyment out of being able to tell other people to stay home, stay safe. There is a percentage much bigger than any of us would wish to have. But the average person should be knowing by now this was all a damn farce.
Dan Scavino, who runs social media at the White House, just out in the open, put his name on it, attacking Dr. Fauci in the middle of this crisis as it explodes.
Yeah, who are you going to trust on a pandemic? A guy who's a famous infectious disease expert or the White House social media director? You know, it's
Yeah. Dr. Fauci, what a terrible thing to do. He's such a wise man, a savior. Thank God for Dr. Fauci. Well, we got to get a vast majority of Americans that want to see him pay the price. Anyway, here's something on Fetterman. I got a bad feeling that we're going to end up in some situation where we got these half-baked lunatics becoming Republicans and putting us down a road I don't care to go down, namely mass amnesty. But anyway, Fetterman doesn't mince words with Hamas and drop site news. I guess this is a drop site news. I've never heard of drop site news. But I mean, if I was a senator and this thing walked up to me, I'd tell him to go take a bath. Go comb your hair. Who are you? I'm not answering your questions. You look like a bum. But I guess that's in vogue. I don't know. But anyway, let's see what Fetterman says. Drop site news.
Julian Andreoni.
Who are you with?
Drop Site News.
Oh, you're Drop Site. Oh, no, it's like a race between who's the more pro-Hamas, Drop Site or Zideo. So now I got both. Hi, everybody. Yeah. Okay.
You mind if I ask you a question really quick? It's about.
I just want to say I want your viewers to say how much I love to watch Israel eliminating the Hamas leadership.
Then you may like this
I know that upsets a lot of your viewers and a lot of your founders.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a great thing. So there's
President
no news
Trump,
coming out of me. I'm going to always back Israel. The question is, where does your trash outlet come from, and who's funding it? And now, if you think your founders think it's appropriate to attack and kill Israeli civilians, that should be the news overall. And now you're sticking a microphone in my face. So,
it's not in your face, Senator.
So there's not any news here. So
President Trump.
I think the question is, why does Drop Site love Hamas and Iran and Hezbollah so much? I think that's the news. Yeah. I mean, are you okay with taking your paycheck from these kind of people?
Are you okay with Prime Minister Netanyahu being in the United States?
I love killing Hamas leadership.
Who's financing you all putting out your trash, Drop Site? And I'd have told him, if that microphone is as filthy as you look, you better get it out of my face. And go take a bath, kid. So anyway, yeah, he handled that all right. I never heard of Drop Site, but now I got a good idea of where they're coming from. And anyway, so we conducted a military operation in Iran and wiped out a lot of their coastal sites. And as Trump said, he beat the effing S out of them, and things have quieted down. I didn't get a chance to check oil. But I can't imagine that it's doing. Yeah, that's Fetterman. He put on a suit. And for once, Fetterman looked better, cleaner, and more professional than the person interviewing him. Because usually Fetterman's the one that looks like a bum. So, yeah, they had to sew two of them together. They had to sew two suits together for Fetterman. But I don't know. Maybe he's coming around. Who knows? Maybe he's a rubber face. Maybe he's a Biden-esque rubber face. But anyway, let's see what's going on here. Todd Blanche, I reported to you all that the Bar Association put the screws to the Todd Blanche nomination. That solidifies my opinion that the Bar Association is corrupted and is anti-American and is guided by foreign influence, foreign powers. Yeah, he's gotten fat. Well, he wasn't never no spring chicken. He wasn't skinny, but he's gotten heavy. All that good Senate food, shrimp and all that. But anyway, so the Bar Association put the screws to Todd Blanche, but nobody's reporting that. But Trump has come out and said he's going to temporarily pull the nomination. Trump willing to temporarily pull Todd Blanche nomination. Newsmax, breaking news. President Trump on Thursday said he has no objection to temporarily withdrawing Todd Blanche's nomination due to opposition from Senator John Cornyn, who got shellacked, thrown the hell out, and Tom Tillis, who dropped out of the race because he knew he was going to get shellacked. Two has-beens that are clinging on to power. And so Trump's saying, oh, we'll just wait till you get your rear ends thrown out. And what a disgrace. But they're showing their true colors. John Cornyn and Tom Tillis. Now, what's the fear? It sounds to me like they're terrified. He would be Attorney General. What do you think Fauci would be looking at if Todd Blanche got confirmed by the Senate? Undisputed, nomination. Trump put this out. Todd Blanche is a star, and everyone knows it. He has the potential to go down in history as one of the greatest attorney generals of all time. Why do you think that would be? Because he's going to be dealing with historic cases. And I think he's going to be segregating them. Some of them are going to be under the purview of a different system of justice, if you catch my drift. But anyway, however, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both of whom I refuse to endorse, and whose political are refusing to vote for this great nominee, who will remain in any event as acting. Remember, Merrick Garland and others too numerous to mention. I have no objection to temporarily withdrawing Todd's name if they do not do the right thing and putting him back after Cornyn and Tillis are out of office. President Donald J. Trump. That's exactly right, Roland Jag. So, let's see. Was this a report I got? Yeah, APT put this out. Yeah. So, reiterating things I said. That's where I got the post that I just read to you. Anyway. So, we shall see. Let's see what we got here. Oh my. This is a long post. A 2-pager from Donald J. Trump. The writing's on the wall, folks. Trump is going to stabilize the Middle East in a way that hadn't been done in hundreds of years, okay? And he's discussing the Board of Peace. Today, the Board of Peace has reached a historic agreement for the complete disarmament of Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza. This is a monumental step towards lasting peace and security. Who has been financing Hamas and all other armed groups in Gaza? Who? Iran. And the signatories to the Abraham Accords are rebuking Iran and their proxies and voting to disarm them, which will give credence, okay, to the idea of forcibly disarming these people and ejecting them from Gaza Strip. And that's why I put Iran isolated. Saudi Arabia is not part of the Abraham Accords, but they're actively against Iran already, and many other of the other Gulf states that are not part of the Abraham Accords. Now they're all against Iran. Now you have a legitimate body primarily made up of Islamic nations that are I'll use the term sanctifying the use of action against these groups. And Iran's all alone. Who do they have besides these groups? Them in Yemen and a couple of boneheads, a splinter group up in Iraq. This agreement is a critical step towards Gaza finally being governed by a new Palestinian government that will work closely with the Board of Peace to help the Palestinian people. At the same time, here we go, Israel will have the security it deserves, with Gaza no longer used as a base for terror attacks. I heard that they would withdraw. So let's read on. This is a major milestone in the implementation of the Trump 20-point plan. The agreement will be carried out in carefully structured phases. As disarmament is completed, Israeli forces will withdraw, and the International Stabilization Force, I guess I'll call that the ISF, will work with a new Palestinian police force to take responsibility for Gaza being safe for its residents and neighbors. 1 year raging war, humanitarian crisis, and hostages being kept in brutal captivity. We have made historic progress, and there's still much work to do. I want to thank the mediators, Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey, for their important efforts, and especially my outstanding team, whose tireless work made this historic breakthrough possible. The threat that emerged from Gaza on October 7th will not be allowed to rebuild. Under this agreement, Gaza will finally be in the hands of a new Palestinian government that serves its capital letters people. Congratulations to all in this amazing development that everybody said could never be achieved. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. So, some people will brush it off. Some people say, oh, that's just Trump glorifying something that'll never work, blah, 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 blah. Well, I think it's going to come together a lot quicker than people realize. And Trump goes into the midterms with voter ID, a stabilized Middle East, lower gas prices and a continued growing economy, the Democrats are going to get, what's the term Obama used? Shellacked. They're going to get shellacked big time. And they just put a fork in them. What Democrat Party? I got Midas Trash Network. It seems, I don't know how long this guy's going to stay on there, but he's infiltrated their community posts. I don't know anything about him. This is the second post I laughed at. He's able to post on Midas Trash Network stuff that is disparaging and mocking the Democrat Party. I'm surprised they haven't blocked him or kicked him out. This was today. One of the most ignorant, unqualified, misleading, uninformed, vile excuse for a politician in the history of the United States. I didn't have time to go through some comments, but how many were there? There were 302 comments, and I bet those lefties were losing their minds. Who in their right mind still buys that Biden was a competent person? Never mind all the other insults this person throwing out. Or legitimate. Well, 48% think he actually won. Actually won. When we saw with our own eyes the garbage that was being. Oh, what's this now? What do we have here? Christina Guaya now and again. Here we go. What is this? Fast fact. More than 1,200 Muslims are part of the New York Police Department, with a push for a sharp rise in hijab-wearing officers on duty, with one veteran sergeant hoping for another 100,000 ladies wearing his hijabs in the department. Critics say this is New York under Zohran Mamdani. Warning, the New York Police Department is prioritizing Muslim identity over traditional standards of uniform, discipline, and cohesion. No longer are you dealing with the Irish and the Italians. We got some new ethnic groups, right? Sergeant Emil O'Carey from the NYPD appeared in uniform while wearing a hijab. She confirmed that the department grew from almost no Muslim officers to more than 1,200 Muslim members of service, including over 10 women wearing the hijab on duty. She described the change as awesome and said she was looking forward to another 100,000 ladies wearing hijabs. So anyway, there's more to the story. If you want to read it, go look at Christina Guaya's page. Yeah, and put that on top of Zohran's not allowing any Jewish people on some of the advisory boards or whatever, any parts of the government, really. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to see what's going on in New York. Yeah, the New York police. Well, I showed you like a month ago, I think it was. Police in New Jersey, they weren't even citizens. They're green card holders from Palestine, but they're police officers, and they can wear the Palestinian flag on their uniforms in New Jersey. And how much you want to bet that they vote in local elections? A lot of places are allowing that. Allowing people to vote in local elections that are not citizens. That needs to stop. Here we have Dan Scavino. I didn't get to this the other day. And I do take very seriously whatever Dan Scavino posts. This happens to be about Lindsey Graham. Now, Dan Scavino has been linked directly to taking photographs that have been posted on the 17th letter that only he could take. Inside pictures of Marine One, Donald Trump getting off of Air Force One, on and on and on. So we know Dan Scavino is part of the CUE team, right? And he's been with Donald Trump since the very beginning. Excuse me while I was sipping my coffee. Boy, that's good. I should have muted my mic. My apologies. But anyway, so keeping that in mind, see if this makes you think a little bit differently about Lindsey Graham. I know I made fun of Lindsey Graham. I shouldn't have done it. I didn't know his backstory. And you know what? When somebody has one hell of a backstory, a courageous backstory, and they don't brag about it, and you find out about it later, that gives you a lot of respect for that person. It does for me. I've been around more braggarts and blowhards than you can shake a stick at. Who was it was talking about Fauci's house? Said they went in Fauci's house and he had pictures of himself all over the place. You went into his office. He had pictures of himself all over the wall. I had a friend like that. He's still around. He's still around. You go in the foyer of his house. It's a great big foyer. The place he lives in looks almost like a mini White House. It's huge and old, pre-Revolutionary War. But anyway, you walk in the foyer and there's pictures of him on the wall, standing next to a horse in an equestrian outfit and all kinds of stuff like that. So I've been around. So humble people really strike a chord with me. But Dan Scavino put this up. Scripture tells us, blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial. For when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life. For 71 years, Lindsey Graham was strong and steadfast. As a brother, a senator, a warrior, and a patriot. He withstood every last test and every trial. And now he wears the crown of life in heaven. Reunited with his parents and reunited with his Lord. I end by saying something very, very special. Lindsey, we love you. God bless you, and we will always be with you. And you were very, very special. So, he's quoting, it appears to me, Donald Trump. Oh, my screen, come on now, don't you lock up on me. Because he posted a video. I figured I'd watch it with you all because I didn't get the chance to watch it. And, you know, those are heartfelt words. You don't fake words like that. Let's see what the video is. You didn't see any tributes like that for others who have passed, if you get my drift. You didn't see that kind of respect. And you didn't hear those kinds of words. So, yeah, Lindsey Graham obviously will be missed. Ha ha. Y'all got some chicken bones out. I feel sorry for that dopey little thing. There was one big fat one used to try to beat up Sadie. I don't know where that thing went, but that was a couple of years ago. But anyway, I got Sadie on a routine where she doesn't interact out there too much after dark. I bribe her with food, okay, to stay inside. Every now and then, she will just stare at the door like she's crazy and shoot through the crack and disappear, and I don't see her till morning. Every once in a while, I don't know what it is. I think she has a boyfriend. But anyway, hey, that's life, right? So, here's that video I had up. Now, who in the world would make an issue of Sophie Cunningham? Some people showed up with shirts on wearing XX and XY on their shirts because I guess they don't want men and women's sports. I don't know. But man, some of these so-called fans, this has got some language in it, but anyway. What is the WNBA for crazy liberals or what? Sure seemed like it.
You leave my daughter alone. Go. She's a minor. Get out Security!
Garbage! Take the trash out! Take the trash out!
Take the trash out, security. I guess he's one of them GAYE guys that doesn't like the idea of men not playing in women's sports. He called them trash. He wants them thrown out. I don't know how they stay in business, how they make money. But anyway, let me give you some updates on Ruski Land. I didn't copy these photos because it's the same thing over and over, a bunch of big black clouds of smoke. And I don't know what the deal is. Have you any of you all checked into this Wild Berries? They have apparently bombed, and it's some spectacular video I showed you all where immense black clouds of smoke come out. It's a online retailer out of Russia. I don't know what it is with the Ukrainians, but they hit about 6 different factories. And each time they claim it's wild berries. Today, the enemy continues its attacks on warehouse facilities of the online retailer Wild Berries, this time in Penza, Sarapul, Udmurtia. The footage was filmed by local residents, published by Ukrainian channels. It's happening in Russian territory. And I'd never heard of an online retailer called Wild Berries. And I'm just wondering why the focus is on that. But here's an example. This a strike on one of these places in Kharkiv. Look at that. I got a video of a guy driving along. Any of you all speak Ruski or Slavic or whatever this guy's talking?
От хто каже, що до цього можна звикнути? Ну неможливо до цього звикнути. От як до цього звикнути, коли ти в'їжджаєш отак от і просто отаке бачиш, перед тобою летить, отак от прилітає. Ну, це капець. Немає ні слів, нічого. Просто, блядь. Ну, у мене немає слів, я чесно кажу.
Неможливо не звикнути. Нічого взагалі зробити неможливо в такої, ну... Капець. Отак от.
Ha, yeah, Tammy, I'm the raccoon whisperer. Yeah, that one possum will come up on the porch and sniff around. If I'm out there sitting, I got an old wrought iron rocking chair I sit in, and I can see the phone better out there at night. And he'll come up and sniff around the porch and doesn't even mind me. I'll say, "What are you doing?" And he just goes around looking for molecules of food I might have dropped. But anyway, yeah, I see. So one of them lost a title to a trans athlete. Todd says, "I didn't know that." And who saw Peter Strzok at a Todd saw Peter Strzok at a WO. Well, some oddball going. Well, they take over whatever they can, really, to act relevant. Hundreds of Jordanian politicians, lawyers, and public figures have signed an open letter calling for the withdrawal of U.S. forces from Jordan. Sounds kind of like the cabal of people we got causing trouble in our country. Lawyers, politicians, and public figures. The letter describes the U.S. military presence as a security, political, and economic liability that risks dragging Jordan into a war it does not want. According to the organizers, Barack Hussein Obama was a community organizer, right? Most Jordanian media outlets have refused to publish the letter, and some signatories could face arrest. Sounds good to me. Because what's their choice? Jordan almost got overthrown by Palestinians in the 90s. And what do they? They want Iran to become a nuclear power? Doesn't sound like they've got their own country's best interests in mind. Zelensky attacked a ship in the Sea of Azov, and I showed you all footage where a tanker was sunk out there in the Black Sea by the Russians. And they've sunk about 3 more. And they have closed the ports in Odessa because of retaliation. Putin's retaliating. Zelensky's attack on ships in the Sea of Azov provoked a Russian counterattack and undermined his own ability to export grain. As a result, he lost Odessa. Ukraine is now a landlocked country. The total volume of Ukrainian exports in 2025, mostly by sea. So in other words, they basically shut their economy down as far as exports are concerned. And I hear a lot of people black-pilled saying, oh, Russia is going to lose. And I still maintain that there is a pre-agreed status that's going to be achieved in this conflict. And they're almost there at that pre-agreed status. I think that military actions have been metered to keep pace with what's going on in other countries and with us domestically, because the U.S. is truly the headquarters, okay, of the deep state. It's where they've got access to the most power and intelligence and can influence other countries and Trump is kicking the pillars out from underneath those groups. Anyway, here's a bomb going off in Kiev. How far away do you think it is? Remember what I said about lightning bolts? What'd you all get on a count? How far away was that? Remember, they got zoom lens. They just zoomed in on it. But how far do you think the camera person was away from that blast? I thought you were talking about my thumbnail, Todd. But you're talking about critters. Yeah, it might be my voice. I don't know. Yeah, he sounded Russian, Frank. Yeah, he that actually was. Yeah, that was a. I think it was a wild berry site that was burning, so it would have been Russian. Yeah. Roland said a half mile. Robert said 2 miles. Well, I counted 4. I counted 4 seconds. Sissy said 10. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Boom! Means he was about 4 miles away. That's how you calculate thunder strikes, lightning strikes, okay? Anyway, here is the state of affairs. Let me see what part of Ukraine this is. I could have got a lot of footage of bombs going off, buildings burning. It's been a rough retaliation from Russia deep into the western parts of Ukraine. From Odessa west, this is in Lviv, almost near the Polish border. Here's how things are in Lviv right now. And, somebody posted that Russian bombing cost civilian lives. I think about 6 people. I saw the other day where Russia was protesting that they had lost 70 civilians in one strike from Ukraine, and over half a dozen were children. And nobody reported it at all, okay? It's terrible, but it's happening, and what are you going to do? This is what's happening in the farthest reaches of Ukraine from Russia. So with the seaports cut off, their exports cut off, their westernmost cities being pummeled, the events that are happening in the U.S., I'm not kidding you when I say good hunting. The hunt is on, okay? Fauci's directly tied to the Wuhan lab. We've already played videos about Ukraine's involvement, Hunter Biden and Metabiota. All this stuff is coming together. The midterms are coming up. We got big court cases coming up. I think we got the peace agreement in the Middle East. I think things are on track to come together for some big action. And we might have to wait till after the midterms. I don't know. But as if a lot of folks are saying in the chats, something might happen about the midterms. Okay? Will we or won't we have midterms? Will the military be overseeing the votes themselves. We can do it in other countries. Why can't we do it in ours? And by the way, I put a link. I told you I was going to use that as my thumbnail. I showed that picture a while back. I said, I'm going to use that for a thumbnail. And Fauci's the first one in the hot seat. Big name. But anyway, I want to thank Mike and Bev. Kaboom! And Wayne and Robin. Kaboom! Kaboom! For going buy me a coffee and helping out this week. Angela and Mike. Kaboom! And Younger Gang, okay? Last night broadcast, kaboom! Must not have plucked anybody's strings, so to speak. So I don't have anything new to report there on the Buy Me a Coffee front. But this broadcast is totally viewer supported, and if you want to help out with Buy Me a Coffee, it's greatly appreciated. I always thank for their Moabs. Where's Miss Minder? There she is. Ha ha! It got delayed putting up there. I was saying, where's Miss Mindersue's with her broom? Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Miss Mindersue and Gary for dropping Moabs when they stop by. Ha ha ha! Big booms. So anyway. Oh, it's buffering, Roland? Oh, you're the only one that's saying anything, so let's keep rolling, Be like butter and get it on. Trump put this up the other day, and I've shown it in the past. This is Gods of War, a monument in D.C. that Trump had. There's numerous different statues. He had the gold leaf put back on. That is 21 karat gold. What nobody's talking about. Trump put up Arts of War sculptures. Is how the hell, who sat there and watched somebody scrape all that gold off these monuments and not say a damn word? These things have been nothing but concrete for decades. 21 karat gold ain't cheap. Now they use 21 karat because they can hammer it so thin. So I mean cellophane thin. And it goes a long way. But you sit there and scrape that stuff off and put it in a bucket, and you got some money. So when was this when did this vandalism occur, and how the hell come nobody did anything about it? I'll tell you what, ain't nobody going to touch those monuments now. You don't see Wayne? Where is Wayne? He was in earlier. So anyway, I want to go see them. I really do. Babylon Bee put this out. Mitch McConnell honors late friend Lindsey Graham with a 47-day moment of silence. Well, right now it's about 50 days. Donald Trump, the last I heard him say was he doesn't know anything. Hadn't heard anything, doesn't know anything. So I don't know what you all think. And that Democrat governor is chewing at the bit to appoint a Democrat senator. So I'm sure Trump and company have got their finger on the pulse and aren't going to let things go sideways, no matter what it takes. This is the time and the hour, okay? And whatever it takes to get things to work out. Who is this young woman? Her husband is running for mayor of Chicago. Let me see. Where is that intro to it? Huh. This might be his campaign ad. She's I think a Fox News personality. Let me see. Maybe I hear his last name.
Chicago used to be known as the city that works.
Yeah, this is the campaign ad. And maybe you all hear his last name and know who I'm talking about. His wife is a Fox News personality. So you got going to be, I'll play the ad in a minute. But Mayor of Chicago, who's Mayor of Chicago now? I'll put something up about him in a second. I just saw him. With gun ownership. Brandon Johnson. Where in the world did he go? Anyway, he's going to sign some kind of executive order limiting everybody's ability to own guns. And I can't stand it when I saw something and then now it disappears. Here he is. They word it so it doesn't say, and the Newsmax is, well, this is ABC. Mayor Brandon Johnson to sign executive order on procurement standards for guns. That's ABC News. So it's a nice way of saying they're going to make it a pain in the ass to get a gun. Okay? So and it'll probably get overturned in court. But that's who we're dealing with now, Brandon Johnson. And this guy is running for mayor. Let's see what his last name is.
Not anymore. It's early evening. I'm on the L, and it's almost empty because Chicagoans are afraid to ride the train at night. That's not a city that works. I'm John Kelly, and I'm running for mayor of Chicago because keeping people safe should be the mayor's #1 priority. We used to have about 400 police officers riding the trains. On my first day as mayor, I'm going to start putting them back. There are 154 police officers on Mayor Johnson's security team. I'm going to cut that by 75% and put 100 more police officers on the trains immediately. I'll hire more police, and after my first year in office, we're going to have 1,000 more police officers on the streets. The city budget is now $17 billion. We can afford to hire enough police officers to keep the train safe. I'm also going to bring back ShotSpotter. It works, and the mayor only got rid of it to hide the amount of crime we have. And to stop the teen takeovers, we need to allow the police to call the snap curfew before they start. I'm a Democrat. Crime isn't a left versus right issue. It's driving businesses and jobs out of our city, driving up residential property taxes, and hurting Chicago's most vulnerable. I'm not another career politician. They're the ones that got us into this mess. I'm the problem solver who's going to get us out of it. There are so many issues to tackle. I want to hear what's most important to you, from you, right in your living room. If you want me there, go to my website and hit the living room button, and I will be there. The city that works for everyone.
It's Julie Kelly's husband. Julie Kelly's husband. I don't know. That's the first campaign ad. I don't know. They don't clean up those voter rolls. You can forget it. I don't care if Trump ran there, they wouldn't win. So anyway, speaking of voter rolls, what's this? Ha ha ha! New Jersey relies on the honor system. New Jersey's system reportedly depends on the honor system when it comes to voter rolls. And officials from both parties say the number of non-citizens being registered is significantly higher than Democrat Governor Mickey Sherrill recently disclosed. Yeah, the honor system, that always works. Just ask the people in Spain. how the honor system's working in with all these Moroccans coming over. They have honor, don't you know? You know, and keep that airlift, that mini airlift from France to here in the broadcast. When you think about this report from the Telegraph, we become numb to the conflicts raging in Europe and the Middle East, but a single miscalculation could bring the inferno to our shores. David Blair breaks down why Britain is one escalation away from disaster. And the picture they have, the Telegraph, which I always look at with the side eye, okay, shows apparently, to me anyway, Muslim men. And what are they doing? They're giving the old salute, right? The old Adolf salute, and they're standing on the Union Jack. Right, it looks to me like right in the middle of the UK. So is this going to be for Europe, their precipice? Are they going to have an event that's going to bring them to a great awakening? To people don't change until they get right to the precipice, right? Would it be Russia? Iran? We don't know. Footage captured by a hidden camera shows French naval helicopters helping migrants leave French beaches. I showed you that. But they were taking them. Well, wait a minute. Does that say taking them to the UK? Let me see. That's where they're taking them. Oh, come on, studio. To reach. I showed you that footage. They land on French shores, so they don't even have time to ask for a cup of coffee, and they're getting hauled off. I got some videos. I don't even know what the heck they are. Let me see. Let's see what this is.
When President...
Oh. Aha! Do you all remember the scarf lady? The scarf lady. You know, I remember her most when she was standing with Trump and Fauci, and Trump was saying, we're going to be looking at that grant money, gain of function grant money, very strongly. And I'm telling you, she looked like she was going to wet her pants. And I'm not trying to be funny. She was shaking. She was trembling when Trump brought that up. In fact, she was trying to act cool. That was right during the pandemic when Trump would go every day in front of the cameras, and sometimes he would have this woman, the scarf lady, and Fauci with him. I remember that day very clearly. But anyway, she's saying that Fauci tricked her.
Trump said to me, we will never close down America again, as what happened, in which I couldn't understand how that happened so rapidly. We put out guidelines to slow the spread, and the next thing we know, everything is closed down. Now I know that Dr. Fauci was having private conversations with these governors and mayors to tell them to close the schools and to tell them, while we were trying to figure out how to contain the virus without doing all of that. A long way of saying, you know, you have to follow what your commander-in-chief is saying to you. That doesn't mean that you change the science. It doesn't mean you change the data. But you figure out a way to execute the plan that they want. So when President Trump on, I think, April 4th said, we'll never do this again to the country, we pivoted to how do we bring testing so that people are aware of their status? No one wants to infect anybody else. But if you get them tests, instead of quarantining people who are exposed, you just only tell the people who are infected to stay home. that is a very different approach. It worked fabulously in universities. It's why we were able to keep them open, and Secretary DeVos was working on keeping K through 12 open. There were solutions, but it became very political, and we all have to be aware, because it was a presidential election year, it was really important for blue states to show that they were taking it very seriously, and they overclosed. And we just have to be honest that that happened. And that's why that discussion from both sides of the aisle and a resolution and a way to go forward is critical so that we can do this right in the future.
They overclosed because it was an election year and they wanted to show they were taking it seriously. Well, that's where she tries to wiggle out of it. What they were doing was starting mail-in ballots and trying to rig the election. Okay? But at the beginning of her talk, she said Fauci was going behind her back, in essence, calling governors surreptitiously and defying Donald Trump's orders as commander-in-chief. That's the terminology she used, commander-in-chief. And he was working against what Trump wanted. You know, all the other fluff and puff, forget about it. Let's see. Judge declines to block strict work rule for sick patients on Medicaid. Declined to stop the Trump administration from requiring chronically ill Medicaid patients prove they are disabled to the point where they can't work, is what the rest of that sentence is. And it sounds horrible. Of course, it's from Politico. Donald Trump is going to make the chronically ill work, the chronically disabled. You know how many people, especially like 20 years ago, were getting lifetime disability for minor maladies? It's hundreds of thousands of them. And but the way they report this, they make it seem like Donald Trump's going to make people who are in hospice go get a job. But anyway. Worst of the worst. Judges are sabotaging Trump's immigration. I had to go find this clip. General Counsel of the Department of Homeland Security, James Percival. I haven't heard his name lately. Have you all heard of James Percival? Accuses a small group of federal judges of judicial activism and forum shopping to block Trump's agenda. Well, anybody with eyeballs can see that. And is this part of the good hunting that we're all hoping for? And I want to play this for you all. Trump is going to provide jobs, and the financial benefits government program give some backbone where our veterans can be driving commercial trucks, give them the advantage over these illegal immigrants, and they're denying licenses. Now I gotta mute this at the beginning because it has Donald Trump's entrance music, which I always get in trouble for. You know, he's proud to be an American, right? Then I will stop it and put the volume back on when he starts to speak. But some people are saying, watch this with me with the sound off. And some people are saying he's given a double CUE signal. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Now you got to remember the music was playing, and he was acting kind of like he was a conductor, or was he giving a double CUE signal? Ha ha! You all will have to figure that out. Let's hear what Donald Trump has to say.
The USA. What a nice song. We thank Lee, right? Lee has been with us from the beginning, so it's great. And thank you all for being here as we take action to get illegal alien truck drivers off the American roadways. We're doing a very strong movement, and we have had such support for this, and replace them with proud American veterans.
I don't know, folks. Yes or no? What do you think? Was that a double CUE post by Donald Trump, or was he acting like a conductor? I didn't put this one up. Boy, what is this? A third of Democrats now identify as Democratic Socialists. What is the actual percentage of the U.S. population if a third of the Democrats think they're Democratic Socialists or identify as Democrat Socialists? Democrat-leaning adults, 1/3. A poll conducted by CNN. Flannel Cheese said yes. Wanda said yes. Selma said yes. Rain said nah. It was a music wind-up. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, how many people would that be in the country think they're think of themselves as Democrat Socialists? They're no friends of yours, I can tell you that. And if, well, maybe you can change them, I don't know. But the administration posted this video, and this is about the veterans being truckers. I think it's a good video, and I hope I don't get any kind of strike on it. And I do want to say again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. And this video is not very long at all. And I don't know if you know anybody who's a veteran that drove any kind of vehicle in their military service. You could tell them about this video, or tell them about where to go, but they could have a second career, really, with wonderful benefits. So anyway, I put a link to Buy Me a Coffee in the chats, and I want to thank everybody who went by Buy Me a Coffee this past week, helping out with the channel. And I'll be going live again tomorrow night, but of course, if you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live, right? Ha ha ha. So why don't you go ahead and do that? But anyway, folks, what's the good news? The good news is that the hunt is on. And we've got front row seats, right, folks? So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Are you a veteran and not an illegal alien?
Yippee-ki-yay.
Did you drive things like this? Or this? Maybe even this? You drove the toughest roads paid to drive on ours.
You show me a pay stub for $72,000 on it, I quit my job right now.
How about 6 figures? Become a freedom hauler.
You ever think about that? I like it.
We like it too.
It's a real blessing.
And we're blowing up fraud. We want you on the front lines. Your road, your rules. Make your own hours, your schedule.
You sure about that?
Oh, we're sure.
Keep talking.
And did I mention medical benefits and sign-on bonuses? Training costs are completely covered for veterans because our heroes treat safety like a mission and rack up more miles doing it. Best part? You'll be on the road in a few weeks.
It's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What are you waiting for?
You can do it.
Your next mission deploys now.